A lot of those guys who lost money, they can afford to lose money. My worry is when it pops, a lot of other people are going to lose money, and maybe they will be people who can't afford it. My name's Gary Stevenson. I worked for years in the city, betting on financial markets, and now I'm an inequality economist. I'm going to tell you what's happening with GameStop, what it means for the global economy, and how it's going to affect you. There's a section of Reddit called Wall Street Bets. It's full of some interesting people, very passionate about markets. And some of them are clearly very intelligent. Some people went on there and said, look, some hedge funds have put massive short bets on this company, GameStop, because they think it's not a strong company. If we go and buy all the stock, then when they come back to renew their loans of the stock, their borrowings of the stock, we can say, no, we're not going to give it to you. So they just created a sort of an army of people to go out, buy GameStop, massively push the price up, not loan it out to any hedge funds. And then when the hedge funds had to renew their borrowings of the stock to sustain their short, they couldn't do it. So they had to buy it back. And the price by then is 10 times as much. So these guys bought it here, held it so the hedge funds couldn't have it, and they sold it back here. Which obviously, when the hedge funds bought it again, pushed the price even further up. Historically, there've been some instances where like hedge funds have done it with like food, like wheat. They've bought all the wheat, and then the people, well, obviously you need wheat. They say, oh, well, they push the price up. The idea is one person, one group of people buys all of it, corners it, and then the people that need it have to pay inflated prices. I guess what is new here is it's being orchestrated on an internet messaging board, which is not traditionally how it's been. The big narrative is it's a load of, plumbers and electricians and taxi drivers at home trading on their laptops in their kitchen. To be honest, given the level of sophistication, I suspect there are some professionals involved, but the truth is there is a large army of ordinary people who are sitting at home. It's largely Americans, not all Americans, but largely Americans, using their stimulus checks, which they're getting, while, a lot of them can't work, to, I guess they would see it as fight against the big powers of Wall Street.
Is the issue that Wall Street has with this now the behaviour or the fact that it's other people who are manipulating the market and not Wall Street?
If it was Wall Street banks making a fortune on this, then there would be less of an outcry from the Wall Street banks. I mean, look, I've worked in Wall Street. I wasn't involved in the big level politics or the lobbying of it, but these guys are out to make money. These guys are out to keep power and to keep market power. I mean, I can understand what's happening, right? Look, I think you need to put it in context, right? First of all, in the COVID crisis, what's happened is a lot of people have lost their jobs, lost their incomes, stuck at home. It's been awful. But what's important is to understand it's been way more awful than some of them for others, right? The richest 10 people in the world have made enough money just last year to pay for COVID vaccines for the entire world. The really rich people here are making a fortune here, while ordinary people are sitting at home, lost their jobs. And in the US, they haven't been given the kind of support that we've been given in the UK, which, that's helped some, but it's not been complete coverage. And that comes on top of a context of since the 2008 crisis, what has happened? The 2008 crisis, the economy's been terrible for 12 years, and yet stock prices trebled, quadrupled, house prices in London have doubled, the gold price has trebled. So we've been living in a world here where ordinary people, the wages don't go up, the jobs don't get better. I think at the very heart of it, what is work isn't working. Work will not buy you a house in London. You know what I mean? I'm 34. People my age who work a job, who don't come from rich families, you cannot buy a house.
No.
But then they see city traders or people from wealthy families buying them easily. So then if you create a world where work doesn't work and wild gambling seems to be able to make you money and it only seems to go to rich people, of course ordinary people, they're not idiots, they're going to say we want a piece too. But I don't want to frame that as if this is a massive success for the ordinary person, because the truth is that GameStop is up whatever. Maybe it's 2,000% now. It just changes all the time. But at some point that's going to collapse. I guarantee it. And when that collapses, who's going to be holding it? I'll bet you any money it's regular people who are sitting out here saving up their money, who've been working hard jobs, trying to make money for their families. At the end, when it collapses, it's probably going to be ordinary people. I don't want to give people the impression that, ordinary, the working man can take back control by betting on Robinhood or IG Index or spread betting, because truth is 75% of people that use these accounts lose money, and it can be very dangerous. It's gambling, it can be addictive, it can ruin families. So I totally understand the story. I can see inequality blowing up. Listen, I come from a poor background. I'm rich now. I totally see what is happening in the world and I understand how it affects people. But we are not going to save the world by sitting at home in our kitchens trading stocks in our underpants.
Should we feel bad for the the Wall Street brokers and the hedge funds for losing all this money? If so, or if not, why?
I mean, I'll be completely honest. I'm not going to be crying myself to sleep about them. I used to work in the city, and I don't want to give you the impression that it's full of dickheads or full of unpleasant people. There's definitely some, but there's also a lot of good people there just trying to make money for their families. You know, that's what I was trying to do. You know what I mean? I don't want to create this good and evil narrative, but look, a lot of those guys who lost money, they can afford to lose money. My worry is when it pops, a lot of other people are going to lose money, and maybe there will be people who can't afford it.